Hello. So today we are going to look at how to use the API connector in Craftar to do a get API call. So first I'll create a new API. I'll call it Craftar API connector get. Right. So that's what we're looking at. I'll click on create. So now the first thing we need is API connector. So you can search for it, or you can go to network, click on REST API, and then click on API connector. So now in the API connector, we have some inputs. So let's just look at our API that we're going to use. So we are using the Rainforest API. You can sign up for free. And now in this is the API playground they have. We can choose an API. So we'll choose the product data API. Type would be product. The Amazon domain would be amazon.com. ASIN is something that they use. It's the product ID. And we need the type as product. So these are the 4 things we need for this minimum. And now if we come to their representation or of the documentation, we can see that there is a URL here that we need. So we'll just copy this endpoint. We'll paste it in a URL. Now we need to get the method. Now you can come in and see that they're making a get HTTP request. So our method is get. And in this case, they have used params. In get, you always use params. Whenever you have a post, that's when you use the data, right? So in this case, we need to create these params. So I'll click on my params and I'll start adding those parameters here. So the first one is API key. I can just copy it here, paste it in my key, and the value is this. I'll paste it here. This is of type text. The second parameter is Amazon domain. So I'll just copy it here. It's amazon.com. And then the next parameter is ASIN. The value is this. Great. And the final parameter is type. And the value is product. Great. So now we have our JSON for params. We don't need any data. There's also no headers. Mostly authentication and the content type goes in header. But in this case, they've put the authentication in params. So we have to adapt to each API. And that's it. So now we can connect. So we can connect our input to API connector and the output of API connector to outputs. I'll create an output. I'll call it response. This will be of type any. And now I can pass this here. And I can just click on play. So now if I click on my API connector, go to my outputs response, I can see the data that I got from the API. And you have product here, title, keywords, and so on. Great. So now I'll click on save and then click on publish and publish now. Awesome. Our API is live. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.